Good morning, guys. So I'm going to share with you guys what I did to get to my marathon race weight and physique. I'm pretty close, almost there, but I'm going to show you guys my physique update, how I kept on the muscle, how I lost the body fat without being starving and losing vitality and hating life, you know, some meals and whatnot. So let's get into it. But first, I'm going to show you guys a physique update. So this is the morning physique, no pump, just fasted, standing here, just woke up. And I am, let's see how much I weigh. I'm like 198 to 199 pounds, but yeah, this is the physique. So let's get into the day. I'm gonna share with you guys how I got lean, like I said, and just share with you guys how to also make it manageable and maintainable forever, because I can maintain this physique super easy and forever, and that's what I am going to do. So with that being said, like I always say, the hardest part to running is just getting out the door. So we're gonna throw on the shoes and just don't give our mind time to negotiate, because a lot of times we'll be like, I could run later, or I could run, you know, in an hour from now. It's like, no, just wake up, get it done, drink your water, electrolytes, hit the road.
Spelled my name in lights, all the hope I just can't see, while I'm hurting and bleeding, but the help is on its way, way too late. I will survive, I will find a lifeline, I will survive, and you'll beg yourself to see me one more time.
All right, so post-run, we are gonna finish with AMRAP push-ups. The reason why I do this is because I believe true character gets revealed when you do it tired. It's easy to perform when, you know, you feel good in your job or life or whatever, but it's how you do it when you're tired, when you don't want to do something. And you know, once you make that a habit of performing the best you can when you're tired, it becomes a new normal. So now, like, that's why I finish push-ups every single run. It's the new normal. I don't have to think about it. I just get right down and do push-ups. Even though I'm tired, I don't even think I'm tired. Like I said, and I get a good chest pump. I don't have one yet, but we're gonna get one. So, right into AMRAP push-ups. Let's do it. Here we go. Right on the hot macadam. Nice suntan. Here we go.
Way too late. I will survive. I will find
Now we go to true tiredness, true failure. You'll see.
I will survive. And you'll beg yourself to see me. You'll beg yourself to see me. You'll beg yourself to see me one last time.
That's true failure. AMRAP, as many push-ups as possible. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nice run. So how this video is going to be broken down for this information is we're going to go over how to run and lose body fat and keep on muscle, and also, you know, prep for a marathon, because that's what I'm doing. But these ideas, obviously, you can carry on even if you're not training for a marathon. Then, after the running information, how to run is made, we're gonna go into nutrition, and then we're gonna go into weight training. And this is all for how to maintain muscle while in a marathon prep, running, and you know, reaching your goal of getting leaner for maybe the race, getting lighter. But yeah, gonna head home and get in the video. Probably cook up a meal, show you guys that. Even though I eat the same shit, but yeah, let's do it. Post-run electrolytes. All right, so this is kind of like what the kitchen looks like. It's a little messy right now because I was working, but yeah, this is like the kitchen. But one of my favorite parts is this microwave. So it's like a rocket ship. You go, and then right there you can just put your food in, and it just cooks, and then you hit close. Automatic, baby. I could sit here all day and just play with it. That's so badass. Man. Okay, that's enough. That's enough entertainment for me. So, the first meal that we have cooked up here is 2 slices of bread with a dippy egg with this tuna on the top with the egg, dippy egg. So when you smash it, it gets all gooey, and then I have the other egg in there. So 3 total eggs with 250 grams of egg whites, fat-free feta cheese, some spinach, carrots, and yeah, this is gonna be the first meal. But one thing I'll just swap out, depending on, you know, what I like, would be salmon. Sometimes I'll add smoked salmon to this, but this is like my breakfast almost 100% of the time, and I love it. So yeah, gonna dig in. Meal number 1. Great place for me to talk about running. Yeah, there's parts everywhere. Like I said, we're moving, so this is where I'm gonna talk about the run. So how do you lose body fat but keep on muscle when you run? And it's quite simple, but a lot of people kind of run in the wrong way, and that's what makes it altogether harder. So let me explain. The reason why you may find it hard to stick to your diet when you start incorporating cardio is because you're probably burning at too hot of a rate. And what I mean by that is your heart rate is quite high. Say you go out and you want to do a run. Well, you're going to go out and try and run as fast as possible, get it over with. You want to push yourself, which I completely understand. I love doing that. But at the same token, you're going to burn hot. And what I mean by burn hot is your total heart rate is going to be much higher than it would be if you were in aerobic heart rate. So aerobic heart rate is 180 minus your age. That is your max aerobic heart rate. That's what you want to stay at or below. This allows you to run slow but far and to increase your endurance without feeling too taxed or lose vitality and be able to like function throughout the day. Now, if you go out and you run and you just push yourself to the max and you hit that rev limiter, almost like in a truck, they have that red line on the speedometer or a car, that is the line where it burns hot and you could risk, you know, blowing up your engine, seizing the engine, overheating the engine. Same with the body. There's a threshold where if you're going out and you're running at, let's just say 190 beats per minute, max heart rate, not aerobic, you're gonna be very fatigued and you're probably gonna be hungry because you just kind of burned hot and your body's like, I need to recover from this. So your hunger is going to spike. You're gonna be sore. It's gonna be hard to recover and run the next day, which leads to less consistency running, which means you're not gonna get better at running and you're not really gonna, you know, reach your goal of running a marathon or running further. So you gotta think of it in the long game, but also think of it as run to vibe, not to die. Right? Because even at, let's just say 140 beats per minute, which is mostly aerobic for most people, that's going to allow you to, you know, recover. Yes, it's not going to be fast, but it is still going to be challenging. Like I said, every run I go out for is pretty challenging, no matter the heart rate. Just because running is hard, it's hard. It doesn't ever get easier. It just gets to be normal. The hard becomes normal. So the main takeaway I want you to, from this whole running portion is how to lose body fat and keep on muscle is run slow at an aerobic heart rate 90% of the time. If you want to throw in some speed workouts, I do it once a week. So that's like that 90%. I'll do a speed workout once a week, a tempo run, and that just allows me to increase my speed. But the rest of the runs are low and slow. Now I do this also because it doesn't spike my hunger. It allows me to recover and be consistent with running. And also it allows me to weight train. You know, one of the most important things with losing body fat and also being a runner, and I think it's very old school now to say that running, you can't build muscle or maintain muscle. The idea is if you stay at zone 2, you're not going to be wrecked if you want to weight train. You'll have that energy as long as you're eating enough, which I'll go into next. But if you are, like I said, redlining your system, that's going to take away from your weight training. And I get a lot of questions of, oh, well, then what should you do first, run or lift? It's totally up to you. I say run first and then lift, and try to separate it. Maybe at least an hour and get some carbs in and some protein, just so that your body recovers, just so that you fill up your muscle glycogen a little and you have more energy to perform in the gym. That's kind of where I stand with running to maintain muscle and to also lose body fat. It becomes something that you need to do consistently and cannot be something that you get injured. Most of the time when you're getting injured, it's either you're ramping up mileage too fast, you're running too hard, or simply you're under eating, which we'll go into next. So that's the key takeaway. What should you do first? Whatever you want. I like to run first because it takes more mental energy for me, and I also can get some time in between. Now, if you don't have that option, I would say do whatever works best for you. Just try to, fuel that workout with some carbohydrates, some electrolytes, so that way your body functions at a peak performance. Short and sweet, simple and sustainable is the option to running. Just like diet, just like weight training, you make gains in small amounts over time, which lead to great progress. You lose gains by trying to make great progress, and then you end up with small amounts because you get injured or you're training too hard. So that's the key takeaway. Run at MAF method, 180 minus your age, 90% of the time. Throw in a tempo workout once a week, interval workout, and you'll be just fine. So yeah, now it's time to move on to the nutrition portion. I'm gonna cook up a meal and then we'll go right into it. All right, so now it's time to go into the nutrition part of this video, which is gonna be the most important topic that we discuss. About performance, about health, about losing body fat, about getting your ideal physique. I'm gonna share with you guys what works for me, what has worked for me, and what I failed at. Let's get into it. So the reason I got lean is because I control my energy intake. Whether you do carnivore, whether you do keto, whether you do vegan, whatever, all these fad diets out there you're gonna see online when you scroll, a lot of them are just trying to sell you a plan, or they're just trying to market an idea to push their agenda. Now, what do they all do? They just manage your energy intake. So for me, what I do is I manage my energy intake by tracking and being aware of my calories. Now, this isn't something you have to do forever. I do it very loosely. I just track my calories and protein, and it allows me to reach my goal physique. And then you just educate yourself on how many calories are in the foods that you eat, because most people eat the same foods every single day or the same kinds of foods. So you understand how much of that you can have based upon your energy expenditure. Now, the way you set up those calories are going to dictate how your performance goes. So I like to do a higher carb, high protein, lower fat diet, because as a hybrid athlete or an athlete in general, you burn a lot of glycogen, whether that's sprinting, running, long distances, or weight training, or all those combined like I do. I burn a lot of carbohydrates. Now, if you're more sedentary, I would say maybe you don't need as much carbs and you can maybe favor some more fat. But at the end of the day, there's no doubt that endurance training and weightlifting are very glycolytic, which means you burn a lot of muscle glycogen. So when you consume carbs, those carbs get digested into glycogen. They get stored in the muscle as glycogen. That's why your muscles will feel fuller sometimes if you eat a lot of carbs. That's why they'll tell you to eat a lot of carbs before you go into a big training session, because your body has fuel readily available. It's the best for your body to use when it comes time to really jack up your heart rate and have those high intensity. So I set up my calories and my macros according to my performance goals. So I always have my protein around 1 gram per pound of body weight. I always have my calories, if I'm going to cut, like I'm going to discuss here, in a 500 calorie deficit. So I burn around 37 to 3,500. So I eat 3,000 calories to get this leanness and to get to this physique. As you guys know, I went on a cut, so that's what I did. And 500 calories over, 10 weeks, that is a 35,000 calorie deficit. And the reason I say this is because people might be like, oh, well, that's not a lot, or, oh, that's not much to notice. That's the point. You don't want to lose body fat and it be something that, like, I always use the analogy, dig a big hole in the beach. Say somebody just digs it all in one day. They get very tired and they don't keep digging because it's hard for them to maintain and dig a huge amount every single day in the beach because it's heavy sand, whatever, falls in. But the person that digs the sand consistently and does a manageable amount will have a deeper hole. Same with training. The person who trains more, let's just say manageable, has better results because they're more consistent. So consistency is the most important thing with diet. That's why I do a slight deficit of 500 calories. Now I did it for 10 weeks, so I said 35,000 calories of fat lost, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of consistency, but it is maintainable, manageable results. The reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people will go on these fad diets and try the carnivore, try the keto, and then they'll just end up going crazy binging because it's not maintainable and they feel like a failure because they couldn't hit their perfect numbers or they couldn't adhere to the diet. And no wonder, because it's very intense and very strict, and you don't want to follow a diet that you can't stick to the long term, because consistency is the most important thing. So what I encourage you to do is track your food for a while, see what food you're eating, see how much you're eating, and then just subtract 500 calories from that and you will lose weight. Trust me, you will lose weight. It's in the science. As long as you're accurate with weighing out and measuring your food, you will lose weight. Now, do you have to do that forever? No. It just teaches you awareness around food. It just teaches you what you're eating, and then you can use that knowledge to eat more intuitively. And if you ever notice that you're gaining weight, it's fine. You just reel it back in, dial it back in, get those tools that you use from tracking your calories and your macros, then you get back to your body composition. So that's how I do it. Like, I'll gain weight sometimes and I'll lose weight, but it's more about just reeling it in and like kind of like fitting me into that area of where I want to be. And I use data. I don't use feelings around food. I don't use just pure emotions. I use data, and that's how you have to look at it. Food is something we all enjoy, but at the end of the day, it's just data. So how I want to just clarify is, when you're training for a big thing like a marathon, or say it's a Spartan race, or say it's a big goal or endurance goal, or if it's a weight training goal, you need to make sure you're not pulling too much sand at one time. You're not digging too much of a hole, because your body keeps score, your performance will go down, because at the end of the day, food is fuel. So that's why I do a 500 calorie deficit. You can even go lower. You could do 300 calorie deficit. Just know that the weight loss is going to be slower, but you got to find out that calorie range that you can still perform and have vitality, and you won't even notice the weight loss happening. It'll be a byproduct just from tracking your calories and your protein. Just the weight will fall off because you're not going to be intensely hungry, because it's not a huge hole in your deficit. So that's how I approach nutrition. I think everybody would benefit from tracking their calories, because a lot of people skip the part of knowledge, of learning about how much their body needs and how much food they can intake while still maintaining or losing body fat, or even gaining body fat. A lot of people don't know those numbers. They'll research everything, or they'll play video games, but they don't even know about their whole body. So I think that's the most important thing that you got to do. Fad diets, I don't think, are going to be the best for performance, because they normally eliminate a huge macronutrient, which are going to, inhibit your performance. As I said, carbohydrates are super important. They're not bad. They're not going to make you gain body fat. The only thing that will make you gain body fat is eating too much energy, because your body isn't burning it, it's storing it. Knowing those numbers and just being cognitive of it is going to help you reach your goal physique based on your goals. And at the end of the day, like I said, the biggest thing is consistency. A lot of people struggle with consistency because they try to do too much at one time, and it's not that hard. You got to do it in small buckets. You'll get great results. You got to understand that you're going to be hungry. You're going to have times where you don't have good training sessions, but that's normal when you're in a deficit. And if you hyperfixate on that and you feel sorry for yourself, you're not going to get your result. You'll just kind of spin your wheels, and I think that's worse than if you just commit and just do the thing and then get to your result and then work your way back up to your maintenance calories. Like I said, do what works best for you, but in my opinion and experience, because I failed at everything under the sun in diet except for this, and I noticed this with all my clients, is the best thing is just managing your energy intake. That's all it is. There's no good or bad food. Obviously, you want to fill your diet with whole nutrient dense foods and have high protein meals, because it's going to keep you satiated. It's good habits, and it's going to allow you to get to your goal faster without being very hungry or deprived, and also help you perform. But if you want to have maybe something a little off plan, you can still fit it into your calorie and energy intake. And it's just more adhesive to life and going about your life. So that's my outlook on nutrition. That's how I got lean. It was just a small deficit of 500 calories over 10 weeks. And 10 to 12 weeks, and I just did it consistently. I stuck to the plan. I was hungry some days. That's normal. You're going to be hungry some days. You're going to be hungry at night sometimes. It is what it is. Your body wants more food because it likes to stay at a set point. You just got to understand, like, hey, I'm not going to die. Just go to bed. You're fine. You're not going to die because you didn't have 300 calories more. As long as you're eating enough, like I said, and you're not under eating, you're going to be fine. The worst thing you can do is under eat too much, because then that's going to affect your performance. That's why I said 500 calories to maybe even 300 calorie deficit from your maintenance is going to be the most important. You can find your maintenance on a TDEE calculator online. It's a rough estimate based on your activity, body weight, and body composition, and just track it for a week. See what your body weight does. If it goes down, you're in a deficit. If it stays the same, you're at maintenance. If it goes up, you're in a surplus, and then adjust accordingly. So that's how I do it. If you want more information, I have my training app that you guys can use. I have my exact program that I did to lose the body fat. Nathan French app has nutrition and my training regimen that I did in the past 10 weeks and the structure. Also, if you want some more help, you can sign up for one-on-one coaching, and I can help you with whatever you need. It just comes down to consistency. It's a horrible day to be a weight. So let's go weight train in the home gym. All right, so I start every shoulder workout with a pressing movement. So we did barbell press, seated barbell press. Sometimes I'll do standing barbell press. Sometimes I'll do dumbbell press, but I always start out with a compound pressing movement. And then I'll go into like a shoulder fly right now. So yeah, just gonna take you guys through the shoulder workout, but main focus is push as much weight as you can and overload on that first set of your compound movement. Put all your energy into your compound movements, whether it's chest, back, legs, shoulders, anything. You get the max overload, and that's where you really, grow and, signal to the body like, hey, we need some muscle mass. We need to accrue some muscle mass. So let's get into it. Post shoulder day, you already know. Even though shoulders, we did AMRAP push-ups this morning. Why not do AMRAP pull-ups? So let's do it. I'm tired, my biceps are sore, so we'll see how these pull-ups go. All right, so we're in the gym, in the workout, shoulders and arms. Let's get into how you maintain muscle while in a deficit with running. So how it comes down to is a minimum of 3 to 4 days a week. You can even try 2, and this is to maintain, right? But with this caveat is if you do 2, you might maintain less than 3. I think 3 is the sweet spot, but anyways, 2 to 5, 6 times a week is a great amount of weight training. You adjust that to what's able for your schedule to accomplish and stay consistent with. Now, within that weight training is the most important, because you could hit the gym, 6 times a week and your training intensity could be shit. You could be barely training, not getting to pump every rep and not getting progressive overload and really taxing your body, going to close to failure almost every set. Probably not gonna maintain a lot of muscle. You're probably not going to grow any muscle. The reason is because your brain and body has no reason to keep the muscle on if you don't give it a reason to. So what I do is I come in and I'll hit my first compound movement like I did, and I want it to be heavy. So shoulder press heavy. I do this because on the compound movement, whether it's chest, back, or legs, or arms, or shoulders, when you progressively overload the body, it sends a message to the brain that, hey, we need this muscle to survive. But if you're not lifting heavy, if you're not tearing those muscle fibers, what reason does your body have to keep muscle on? It doesn't. It's not just doing it to look pretty, it's doing it because it's necessity, right? You've proven over and over again, weeks of training, tearing those muscle fibers, signaling to the body, hey, we need this muscle mass, we need to keep this. So the key idea is when you weight train, you want to keep intensity high and train as close as you can to a failure within that rep range that you choose. So my perfect rep range is from 6 to 12. Now I know that's a big gap, but depending on how my strength is going, my strength is getting weaker, I'll go closer to 6. If my strength is good and I want to, kind of get a little more hypertrophy out of it, I'll go closer to 12. But I generally stay around 6 to 12. So just keep in mind with all of this, you have to go into the gym and train hard and progressively overload the system. And keep choosing heavy weights that challenge you. Don't just come in here and get a stretch with a weight. That's not gonna do anything. You gotta tear the muscle fibers and you gotta eat right. Say you walked a mile when somebody else ran a mile. Who do you think is gonna have that better aerobic outcome from that given time? The guy who runs, because he did the thing, he did the running. Your body's gonna adapt to that run. It might suck, but your body will adapt and get better at running. That's why running over and over again and increasing mileage over time allows you to run way further. Now the same with weight training. If you want to keep on muscle and grow muscle while running, it's the same thing. You have to completely and progressively increase that weight that you use or increase the intensity / volume that you use and keep training close, if not to failure. And I know there's a lot of people that say you don't need to. I'm not saying you have to, but for me, I don't like to sit in my head and count specific reps. I like to give myself a range. Hey, let's try to go from 8 to 12 this set with 50-pound dumbbells. Wherever that failure falls, say I fail at 10, good. Say I fail at 9, that's fine with me. Say I fail at 8, that's fine with me. I'm in that rep range. So that's how I approach it. I keep intensity high. I stay consistent. I personally lift 4 to 5 times a week during this marathon prep. I've done 3, sometimes even 2 times a week during my 100-mile ultra. But like I said, my schedule was chaotic. I was running 84, 90 miles a week. So it is what it is. That's what I did. So did I lose a little muscle? Probably. Should I train more in the gym? I don't know. I got it back because I increased intensity again. I started lifting more and more weight when I got back into the gym. So key takeaway is progressively overload your system just like you would in running, and choose a weight within your rep range that's pretty hard for you to handle, but not impossible. So that's that. Don't overcomplicate it. Train till failure if you want. Don't train till failure if you want. Just make sure you push yourself. Make sure you try to lift more and more each week. And if you can't, just try to maintain what you can, right? And just train as hard as you can with that weight. Just lift heavy and run far. Life isn't perfect, neither is weight training, so we're all gonna figure it out. But just know the body will adapt. So if you wanna lift heavier, you gotta choose to lift heavier. Wrapped up the workout, now time to eat dinner. All right, so for dinner, what we got is some red beet eggs from a local Amish market. here in Pennsylvania. And then we got some more Amish goods, barbecue onions. Those are amazing. And we just got some Greek yogurt to go on top of this. And this is just going to be vegetables, 8 ounces of 90% lean beef, and then hash brown potatoes, 350 grams. And yeah, that is dinner. What's up, guys? It's the next morning. I fell asleep last night, forgot to record my meal. I had another yogurt bowl with some BPM protein in it. My yogurt bowls are just like something I really crave. But I want to say it's Sunday morning. I had 15 miles yesterday, and I just want to have this conversation to wrap up this video. Just say, like, I'm exhausted right now. I'm tired. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay to sleep in a little. It's like 8 o'clock right now, and I slept in 8:30, and I normally don't do this, and I used to feel bad about doing these things because even on a weekend I would say, oh, you gotta keep working, keep getting ahead, but sometimes you just gotta like take a step back and give yourself a break and keep pushing to have momentum for the week. And that's one thing I struggle with, and I think it's good to share. That's why I'm saying this right now, and even though it seems minor, but a lot of people are like, go, go, go. I'm one of those people that I never feel like I'm doing enough for what I do, and I just feel like a lot of people can relate to that, and I struggle with it. But the biggest thing I learned is kind of like, hey, you need a time to distress, you need a time to relax, you need some time to just have time to yourself. So today I'm not going to be too worried about like just burning myself into the ground. And I'm just gonna, do some yard work with the new house, and just kind of live life. Yeah, just want to say that. I know it's kind of pointless, but I think everybody, you get so caught up in doing more that sometimes you miss out on life and what it has to offer. The whole point of working is so that you can have freedom to do the things that you want and experience the things that you like. And if you don't give yourself that time or that freedom, you're just kind of a slave to your own labor. And so that's that. Not saying you shouldn't work hard, but definitely, give yourself some time to enjoy yourself. Slept in, feel good. But that's the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, stay corn fed. Marathon Prep episode 5 is in the books. See you guys on the next one.